So, after a very frenetic junior pre-final, let's take you through the grid. 34 seniors about to go into battle for 10 minutes, plus an additional lap. Julian Klausmann starts on pole position ahead of Benjamin Van Hees, Sebastian Koch and Felipe Falk on row 2. Devian Rost and Dave Stevens row 3. Mitch Haynett and Scott Westhoven's row 4, with Crick Norden and Sam Baustein completing your top 10. Ruben Verheyen and Joris Schoens row 6, Steen Peters and Jure Valkenhaals row 7, Rein van der Meer and Steve Van Vliet row 8, Jay Zutterveld and Kaz Boshuis row 9, with Thomas Verheyen and Mick van den Hout rounding out your top 20. Philip Wisniewski and Bodine Blankenberg rounding out row 11, ahead of Flynn Fitters and Sven Slagmoller. Lendrus and Heimer van Beek on row 13, Kimi Schleich and Luca de Moitru row 14. Completing your top 30, Ruben Lichtenstein and Mike van Maastricht, with Louis Le Regular, Brent Spapen, Martin Herrera and Gabriel Svitala rounding out your 34-strong grid. If you thought the juniors was feisty just a moment ago, well, when it's drivers from 14 and above, and this can mean that they can be on the year of their 14th birthday to start as a senior. So every single pre-final we've had so far has had a full start. Can the seniors get it right first time? Stick with us and you'll find out in glorious sound and vision. And a big thank you to our friends over at Camp Company GmbH for providing the live stream coverage once again this year. Team led by Mike Wagner. So they've been helping with the live timing as well, which you can find the link in the description in the YouTube video. If you are currently watching wherever you are in the world, thank you so much for joining us here for Championship Sunday. We'll concentrate more on the championship side of things in the finals after the lunch break, but the pre-finals will set the tone for this afternoon's possible madness in the offing. Red lights on the gantry. Into the tram lines we go. Revs rise. It's a full start. They're sending them round again. Well, it's kind of funny when I said, yeah, well, we've had 3 full starts already. That's number 4. But of course, for some of the drivers who are competing for the title, it is very, very important. They want to make sure that they bring their A game, that they leave no stone pretty much unturned. Because every point lost means that there is a little bit more favour brought towards your opponents in terms of the championship side of things. It is going to be down to the pairing of Julian Klausmann and Benjamin Van Hees, who will bring us to the rolling start once again. That is where this could be very, very important indeed, as the sun continues to shine. Air temperature now 13 degrees Celsius and climbing. As the drivers now pass the point of no return. There's no going back from here. They've got to very quickly get into formation, because otherwise our race director, Michael van der Riet, is not going to let them go. Okay, red lights on the gantry. Second time of asking. Revs rise, lights are out. We're underway for the second time, as it's the run down to T1. Klausmann leads the way. Koch looking for an inside line, and in the middle, that is Devian Rost, and that is one of the TB cuts. That is going to be Mitch Haynert. Oh dear. And that's not something, well, I mean, anything can happen when they go into turn 1. It's a free-for-all, it's a melee, it's elbows out, and look at the right side rear bumper. of Devian Ross's cart. That has been bent upwards. Oh, we've had another incident at turn number 8. And that is... Now I'm wondering, was that Sebastian Koch? Probably. Well, it's a Sodi cart. No, it's not. And that is going to more than likely be Mike van Maastricht in the 309. So more dramas afoot. And the apple cart has been quite literally turned upside down and on its head and spun 360 degrees the wrong way. As steamrolling up the inside of the, I think that was the 334. Scott Westhoven's was Krit Knoren. So Krit Knoren launched the left side wheels into the air, off the curbing at turn 3, and Scott Westhoven's really didn't have a response on that one. You know, when you're the cart behind, as now we got a battle for the race lead. Julian Klausmann has got Sebastian Koch right on his rear bumper. Benjamin Van Hees laying in wait. And then we've got a new challenger, in the words of Street Fighter, coming across the line in P4. That will be Rein Vandermeer, who's already up 11 places. Well, Rein Vandermeer has taken complete advantage, and Sebastian Koch now hits the front end of the field in the 380. Klausmann down to P2. Van Hees, Vandermeer. Oh, and Klausmann steamrolls up the inside of Sebastian Koch. This is going to give the opportunity for Van Hees and Vandermeer to try and see if they can force a window of opportunity to get through. But Felipe Falkenstein-Peters now are with them. That's 6 drivers at the front end of the field. We're only 2.5 minutes in, and it's like a powder keg with someone waiting to light the fuse. Van Hees having to get his elbows out. He's got Vandermeer right on his rear bumper. Oh, hang on a minute. Did Steyn-Peters just get through on Felipe Falk? Or was that Thomas Verheyen? Verheyen has closed on in the meantime as well. This is really getting hot and heated under the collar. And look at the peloton. Felipe Falk, as there's going to be a change, more than likely. Rein Vandermeer round the outside of Benjamin Van Hees, and Thomas Verheyen just got through at turn 2. Hold the phone, and now, oh, that is going to be Felipe Falk, I believe, up the inside. And Benjamin Van Hees has tumbled from 3rd, now is 6th. Bodine Blankenberg, Krit Knoren, they're all wanting their little chunk of real estate here at the home of champions. There's a change for P3. Vandermeer loses out, I think, to Verheyen, but is trying to come back at him through it to turn 10. And Verheyen now up into P3. Not Ruben, that's Thomas, let's not forget. Because Ruben is a little bit further down the order. 4 minutes in, so Jay Zurveld out, Sam Bergstein out, Mike van Maastricht out. 3 drivers out of 34 now eliminated. As for the lead, Julian Klausmann gets through on Sebastian Koch at turn number 2. And Koch now giving him the hurry up on the Sodi kart. Of course, the Sodi kart now the official chassis partners for this year's Grand Finals for seniors. Senior Rotax, E20 Senior and E20 Master. So Koch trying to get in some wheel time before the Grand Finals. Right, kart 312, Bodine Blankenberg. Unsportsmanlike driving penalty, 3 seconds will be added to the Dutch driver's race time post-race itself. And we are now halfway through pretty much this race. Lap 5 in the books. And Julian Klausmann now has a 0.22 second advantage over Sebastian Koch. Thomas Verheyen up 16 places. Would you believe that? Now rounds out your top 3. Rein Vandermeer, Felipe Falk, Bodine Blankenberg also up 16 positions, despite the fact, 4 wide coming out onto the Europelan. Hang on a second, this could get really, really exciting. Through into turn 6 as it was nearly 3 wide. Someone had a bit of a tank slapper. Right, another 3 second unsportsmanlike driving penalty. That is going the way of the 314 Ruben Lichtenstein, who is up 12 spots, now runs 17th. As there is a change a little bit further back. There's the, 372, Quick Knoren is out. That's a shame for the driver that started in 9th place on the rolling start just over 6 minutes ago. And this is not getting any easier. That is Julian Klausmann through. I think, oh no, there's a clash on the Europolan, and one goes off backwards into the barriers. It might have been Dave Stevens possibly in the 382. And it was 3 wide, and no one was giving an inch, no one was taking a mile. And somebody else off the circuit. Oh, it's the 386. That is, Thomas Verheyen, who was battling for P2, has just found himself eliminated on that clash. Well, it wasn't going to be an easy one here today, and we all kind of knew that, being in terms of the facts of how the championships are respectively looking. So that was very shortly after Quick Knoren retired. So effectively, Thomas Verheyen had Julian Klausmann, and then it was a case of 2 into 1 did not go. Klausmann and Verheyen did clash. So you can only give. Philip Wisniewski has retired on lap 7. And now Sebastian Koch leads the way. Felipe Falk in second. Benjamin Van Hees, Bodine Blankenburg up 18 spots. Ahead of Rein van der Meer, but that 3-second penalty is going to put Bodine Blankenburg at the moment at around about 9th place, despite having gained 18 positions from the start. Looks like Thomas Verheyen managed to get going again in the 386 after tagging the grassy verge. And there's still more elbows out action. That involves Julian Klausmann, Tay Stevens. Looks like Flynn Fitters at the back end of that 3-cart train through into turn number 10. So we're coming down to the last minute and a quarter. Rein van der Meer now in 7th. Martin Herrera, the young man from Colombia for Mountfort Motorsports, I remember, now up 22 places. The Colombian is 0.6 of a second away from getting into that top 10 and has pretty much stayed out of trouble so far. But still with 45 seconds on the timer remaining, plus those additional 2 laps. It's not going to be an easy one for these drivers. They're re-battling tooth and nail. The track is pretty dry, so the way things are going, the remaining 3 races that we've got coming up next will be on dry tyres. However, Julian Klausmann now closing in on Bodine Blankenburg. This is the battle for 4th place as they go into turn 5 at the Europlan. 3, 2, 1. Timer has expired. 2 more laps to go. Klausmann looked to the outside of Bodine Blankenburg going through into turn number 6 and 7. Couldn't make the best of it. Tried for the undercut through at turn 8. That was not either happening. Well, that was not happening either. Julian Klausmann says to Bodine Blankenburg, "Come on, get on with it." Well, Bodine Blankenburg needs to minimise as much of the 3-second penalty as possible, and if he can help himself by keeping, well, Klausman decides that's enough. I want to get through, as we've got 2 more laps to go, so 2.72 kilometres of the circuit. Blankenberg is not giving up, neither is Klausman. There's Tay Stevens, waiting for his opportunity to get through. And if Bodine Blankenberg and Klausman continue as they are, Stevens will find a way through. And now at turn number 5, onto the Europalan we go. Stevens getting a double-toe slipstream behind Klausman and Blankenberg into turns 6 and 7. So this could be a very, very interesting battle in the dying stages of the race. As at the moment, Sebastian Koch now making his way through to turns 12 and 13 on the Sodi kart. He's got a 1.3 second advantage over Felipe Falk as we go into the final lap. Gap is now 1.5 seconds and climbing. Bran van der Weken, Benjamin Van Hees, my apologies there. Benjamin Van Hees in 3rd place. Julian Klausman, Bodine Blankenberg now up 17 spots. In 5th, Tay Stevens, Jordi Schoens, Flynn Fitters has made up 15 places. Ruben Verheyen in 9th, and Martin Herrera from Colombia up 23 spots from 33rd on the grid. Now runs genuinely in 8th place and is 1.2 seconds off of 9th. However, Sebastian Koch, the number 380 for Dams Racing, will come through the final corner and will pick up the win in the Senior Rotax pre-final, finishing 1.7 seconds ahead of Felipe Falk. Benjamin Van Hees, Julian Klausman, Jordi Schoens, Dave Stevens, Flynn Fitters, Bodine Blankenberg, Ruben Verheyen, and Martin Herrera from Colombia rounds out your top 10, up a whopping 23 positions at the checkered. Scott Westhoven's Casbos House, Steve Van Vliet, Ruben Lichtenstein also making up quite a few positions up to 14th, but also has a 3-second time penalty. There's another 3-second time penalty going out to Steve Van Vliet, who does come across the line in 13th behind Scott Westhovens and Casbos House. Ruben Lichtenstein, Rein Vandermeer, Jure Valkenhaus, Brins Papen, Devian Roos recovers to finish 18th. Steen Peters and Sven Slagmol around at your top 20. Mick van den Hout, Kimi Schleich, Raymond van Beek, Len Druers, Mitch Haynert, Luca de Moitru, Louis Le Regular and Gabriel Svitala round out your 28 finishers. Thomas Verheyen we lost on lap 9, Philip Wisniewski lap 6, Krit Knorren lap 5, Jay Zervelt and Sam Bergstein on lap 2, and Mike van Maastricht was out on the opening lap of the race.